drag racing fan. Lee Craft, the Monday Morning Racer here. Hey, do me a favor. First of all, chime in. Let me know where you're watching from, and also let me know that you can actually hear me. I've got some different earbuds and microphone things going on, and I want to make sure that I'm not just a talking head with lips moving. So let me know that you can hear me loud and clear, and we'll just keep rolling. The week after the Stampede of Speed, Funny Car Chaos is in the books for their 2022 season. We've had the Scott Palmer Nitro Sideshow and the Pro Mod Shootout and the Champions Dinner and the Fan Fest and the Fall Nationals for the NHRA. They are all in the books. It's done. The Stampede of Speed is completed, and this is the first Between the Slicks after that event. Definitely glad to be right here in the state of Texas still, Alvarado, Texas, to be exact. Behind me, you've got Buddy Hole Racing. We're at his facilities right now. Buddy Hole wrapped up his season as well. Thank you, Joe Morrison, for letting me know that I am loud and clear. You're checking in from Dirty Jersey. Man, have a good time up there in the Northeast. Yes, folks, there actually is a garden side to the Garden State. It's not all city connected there to New York City. I found that out in years past. Beautiful state in certain parts of it for sure. But I'm in a beautiful state right now, state of Texas. Buddy Hole Racing housing Between the Slicks tonight, where we talk about it all in the world of drag racing. If you're watching from Competition Plus, good to have you along. If you're watching on Monday Morning Racer, good to have you along. Hit that like button and share the show out. We have got a good show lined up. We're going to be talking to one of the youngest stars in drag racing. We all knew she would be a star. We all knew she'd have great success. And already, first couple of times in a door slammer, last year getting in one and this year running the full gamut. She is the Pro Outlaw 632 champion in PDRA, Professional Drag Racers Association competition. That is Amber Franklin. We're going to have her on later tonight, be chatting with her. And, I should have dug in the archives and found an old clip from Darlington way back. I intended to, but got busy today and did not get it. But interviewed her at Darlington Dragway about 2-3 years ago, still in a junior dragster, and was like, hey, where do you plan on going? What do you plan on doing? And knew she was going to be a star and certainly be a champion, and she got it done this year in Pro Outlaw 632 competition. We'll be chatting with her momentarily. Later on, roughly around 8:30 Eastern time, we're going to be talking with Amber Franklin. But before then, what do you want to talk about in the world of drag racing? There's plenty I could talk about in the world of drag racing. We're definitely going to get there. We'll get some drag news. We'll do a look back at the Stampede of Speed and more. But what is going on in the world of drag racing for you all? We are going to, right here at Monday Morning Racer, there's definitely a passion for what happens at the local venues. I've been to a lot of NHRA national events this year, but I've been to a lot of Funny Car Chaos races, actually every one of them. And Funny Car Chaos, its wheelhouse is going to a place like State Capitol Raceway, or going to a Mocan Dragway, or going to a Eddyville Raceway Park. Though that local scene and packing those places out, and that energy and that hype and the hometown feel, and stepping a little bit back in time right in the modern day. What has been happening at your local scene? My local drag strip, my home drag strip, is Ware Shoals Dragway there in Ware Shoals, South Carolina. What about your track? What's been going on lately? Maybe your local track hosted a big event recently that was some type of match racing or some type of bracket racing. Let me know. I'd love to hear what's going on at your local track. Thank you to each and every one of you chiming in. Drag Racing Central talks about shame the PDRA had to cancel their final race. Yes, it is, but that has happened before, and it may happen again. Sometimes weather can definitely be iffy in North Carolina and Virginia, both this time of the year, and it did happen again. So it's a shame, but it does happen. Red Racer 1985. What's up, MMR? Still pumped up from last Sunday at Dallas, and the Stampede of Speed should be a yearly thing at Dallas NHRA event. Well, it is a yearly thing. They intend to keep on doing it. So what you experienced was the second annual, and we should see the third annual coming up at the Motorplex in 2023, and I imagine they're going to do it bigger and better. We'll talk about the Stampede of Speed a little later on, but it was done bigger and better this year, I think, in many ways. Troy chimes in. Good to have you watching, Troy. How about 613 entries in the first round of OG Million? Big Money Bracket Racing didn't get the recession memo. That is certainly correct, man. You know, the race at Bristol had like 640 something entries. I'm not quoting that exactly right, but it was well over 600. We got 613 entries there at the OG Million. Bracket racing is alive and well, and I would say just drag racing, period, is alive and well. I would go further to say that motorsports is alive and well, and it is doing well across the board. I think motorsports was something that during COVID across the board was able to move forward because of the people who are in motorsports were like, we're going to go racing. It's part of our lives. It's what we do. You're not going to stop us. We're going to get out there and we're going to go racing. And I think across the board, motorsports is doing well. But yes, bracket racing, whether it's for the little money or the big money, it is doing exceptionally well. And that is great to see. And it's great to see how well NHRA drag racing is done. Guys, Funny Car Chaos. Funny Car Chaos had nearly 90 funny cars earn points this year. Let me say that again. Funny Car Chaos had nearly 90 funny cars earn points. What do I mean by that? That means a funny car showed up to a points race and collected some amount of points. That does not even include the ones we had at Cordova that did not show up at a Funny Car Chaos race. And Nitro Chaos doesn't count. The funny cars that participated only at Nitro Chaos events, and there were a few of those. Nearly 90 funny cars. Who knew there was that many funny cars out there? Again, I think across the board, drag racing is doing well overall, as well as it can be expected, and honestly, even better than I think we would believe it to be after COVID. Because we all are after COVID, and we all are in an economy that, well, isn't the best we've ever seen, but yet here it is. It's moving forward. It is progressing. Drag racing's doing pretty doggone well. AJ Shoemake, Wilk Warrior listening in. Good to have you along, AJ. Good to have you listening along as well, Nick Blood. Well, let's take the time. We're going to take a break. Right after the break, we're going to talk directly on the Stampede of Speed. My takes on what the Texas Motorplex has done and is doing with that great event. Right after this word from Power Built Tools and DFW RV Center.
Power Built Tools exemplifies innovation in the tool industry. From hand tools, power tools, and even tool storage. Check out powerbuilt.com for Power Built Tools. And remember, use promo code MMR15 for 15% off at purchase.
The drag racing life and the RV life seem to go hand in hand like nitromethane and superchargers. And when you are traveling through the Lone Star State and you're needing work done on your RV, well, DFW RV Center is your star to contact. The second annual Stampede of Speed, including the NHRA Texas Fall Nationals, Funny Car Chaos, the Stars Over Texas Muses Festival, a beer tasting, rib cook-off, rodeo, you name it. Scott Palmer's Nitro Sideshow and the Pro Mod Shootout, it went underway. It is completed. It is done. And what a festival It is truly a stampede of honestly everything Texas and everything drag racing all wrapped up into one package and tied with a nice blue bow, if you will. Look, I was concerned how could they make it better, because the first one was honestly so good. And I believe most of you watching would agree with me that when they attempt to do something a second time, it loses just a little bit of its luster, and it's got to get past that second, third, fourth, fifth time to get into tradition mode, where we begin to accept it as a traditional matter, and it's something on the calendar that just happens and it has to happen and we got to go partake of it. Well, they accomplished making it bigger and better, bringing in Funny Car Chaos to kick it off and ending the season for Funny Car Chaos at the Texas Motorplex. It was great to see the winners of that race and our champions for Funny Car Chaos be on the big stage. Chris Graves on the big stage, and their photos taken there before the concert crowd and before the racing crowd, and it made it feel like a big deal, and it is a big deal. Funny Car Chaos is a standalone funny car series where you run whatever you've brung. As long as it's a funny car, you can bring it, and nearly 90 funny cars did. And Kirk Williams is the 2022 champion. We talked to him last week on 2 weeks ago on Between the Slicks, and you have them celebrated at this big event. Well, we roll into the music side of things and the rodeo side of things and all things Texas and a country music festival. What a great crowd that was out there, but they got to experience drag racing. This year, they figured out, how can we showcase drag racing while we have concert goers here? And there were plenty of people there that had not been exposed to drag racing, or they knew very little of drag racing. I'll share more on that in a moment. But you have Nostalgia Funny Cars during intermission going down the track. You have Alex Laughlin and Scott Palmer, along with Ray Kelly and Team Game Exchange and their Jet Dragsters, going down the track, and people getting to experience the sights and the sounds and the smells, the bangs, the flashes of drag racing. And even if they didn't walk over to the stands to see it, they had to watch it because it was live streamed to the concert goers during intermission of the concert. So they were able to see it, smell it, hear it, and feel it there at the Texas Motorplex. For many of them, probably the first time ever, because they came there just for a concert and they got more than they bargained for. I was in the pit taking photos and video, especially waiting for Matt Hagan to come up and introduce the main act. That was very cool. A drag racer, a championship winning drag racer at the highest level of the sport in Funny Car, Matt Hagan got to introduce and pump up the crowd before the very main act that Sunday night there at the Stampede of Speed. That is what the Stampede of Speed is doing, giving drag racers a pedestal to be on. That is certainly cool in and of itself. But I was talking with this young couple. They travel for work. They live not too far in the Texas area, north of Dallas, actually. And they knew about drag racing, but they'd never been to a drag race. They weren't able to make the Fall Nationals. But if they take up Elon Warner's opportunity that he provided them to go to LA, they're going to have the time of their lives at an NHRA drag race there for the finals at Pomona. And it's these type of moments, communicating with people and introducing them to something new, that is how people begin to pick up a new hobby, begin to pick up a new interest, begin to find something fresh and new and exciting. And we don't have a problem with drag racing of being exciting. We have a problem of getting people to the gate. If we can get them to the gate, man, drag racing is exciting. I don't care if it's at the PDRA. I don't care if it's Funny Car Chaos or NHRA drag racing, Midwest drag racing series, whatever it is. drag racing is exciting. We have just got to get people to the gate, and the Texas Motorplex is doing that. Scott Palmer, if you're out there watching, man, thank you for what you're doing in the world of drag racing. On Monday night, it was Scott Palmer's Nitro Sideshow. We got to see a lot of cool cars rip down the drag strip, and drag racers and fans alike just have a bit more access, have a little bit more fun. And I have seen people make the remark, where are the fans? Well, there were more fans this year than there were for last year. That's good. We can see growth. And I think on Monday night at the Texas Motorplex, right before a national event, it's going to take some time for that to continue to happen and to continue to grow and continue for people to put that on the schedule. But the third annual Stampede of Speed, I'm sure, is coming. And the third annual Scott Palmer's Nitro Sideshow, I'm sure, is coming. Scott's already talking about how can we make it better? How can we give fans even more access? He's doing it. And thank you for what you're doing, Scott. That was another good night. The Pro Mod Shootout, along with Top Dragster and Top Sportsman, that was another great night of drag racing on Tuesday night, with Stevie Fast Jackson getting the win and Old Blue keeping that car 2-0. You can see Monday night's action. You can see Tuesday night's action on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. You can also see the intermission runs made by Alex Laughlin and Scott Palmer, along with Ray Kelly and Team Game Exchange and those Jet Dragsters on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel as well. I was there for it all this year, the Stampede of Speed, and it was great to work along with the Texas Motorplex. And again, they did a job well done. And that's not all. Well, we roll into Wednesday. There's the test. There's testing. There's the Champions Dinner. The Champions Dinner was so cool. When you win a race, it seems like the only moment of celebration is at the end, which is rightfully so. You won the race. It's at the end, but then you're done with it. Your trophy goes home. It starts to collect dust, and you're never really honored as a winner again, except over the PA system of rolling into the water box is the defending champion of this race from last year. Who can take this person out? That's about it, but not at the Stampede of Speed and the Texas Motorplex anymore. They have the Champions Dinner, something modeled off after the Masters Dinner, and you have the drivers come back that won. They get to pick dessert, their entrees for everybody. We have a dinner. There's photo. There was red carpet. The step-by-step checkered board logo backgrounds made it look all official. There was photographers. There was the flash, the pops. Even I was there live interviewing the drivers and other personalities as they were coming into the Champions Club. That was such a cool deal, that a winner, a defending champion, can be honored one more time before they potentially lose that title as defending Fall Nationals champion. We did see Justin Ashley and Ron Capps continue the defense of that title, and they're going to get to pick a part of that dinner once again. You had the Fan Fest. Man, that Fan Fest, guys, if you have not watched my live from the Fan Fest Between the Slicks last week, episode 111 was so much fun. The turnout was spectacular. It was all the way to the bouncy houses. You got to go watch it now because that was a long ways from where the line began to where it ended, the bouncy houses. There at the Rail Yard Park in Waxahachie, Texas, great place to have a Fan Fest. Food trucks, all the drivers were lined up. There were like 30, 40 drivers, a great turnout of drivers this year signing away and interacting with fans, and we were to get word with many drivers and word with many other personalities in the NHRA that work directly or indirectly with the NHRA as well there at the Fan Fest. The Stampede of Speed has become something and is something that if you're a drag racing fan, you need to put it on your list, and it's something that you can vacation to. You can come and experience what Texas offers, and it offers a lot, especially in this area. And you can experience night after night after night of drag racing. And then if you need a little bit different taste, you've got the music festival, you've got the rodeos, you've got the Fan Fest, you've got testing, you've got all these things. And we haven't even talked about the national event. What a great national event we had. Thank you, Texas Motorplex, for putting up the extra money for the Friday night qualifying sessions. And thank you, NHRA Safety Safari, for working so hard, and racing was completed on the day it was intended to be completed, on Sunday, and the champions were crowned. The Stampede of Speed has set the bar for what you can do regarding a national event. And it may be that not every track has 11 plus days of drag racing. No. But what the Texas Motorplex and that team has shown is that if you're a track, big track or small track, work with your community. Because all of this goes back to them working with their communities, Ennis, Waxahachie, and the state of Texas itself to make this a big deal. This is not drag racing on its own. This is not racers on their own. No, it is many different areas and places and peoples coming together to make something like the Stampede of Speed possible. So does every national event have to have 11 days leading up to it? Well, no, that would be impractical for every one of them. But maybe it's a 2-day lead up. Maybe it's working with the local community and parading some way the cars downtown or something, or having that fan fest downtown before firing up on a Friday. Maybe there's just more for you at your track, your local place that you go to race, to do something very similar to the Stampede of Speed. It doesn't have to be on the same scale, but maybe in the place that you are, you can have your own. I hope it is an encouragement to tracks and track operators around, honestly, the world, and not just drag racing, but all forms of racing, to implement something like the Stampede of Speed. To the whole entire Texas Motorplex crew, congratulations. Another great Stampede of Speed once again. Quickly to the comment section. We have got Drag Racing Central safe to give Erica the crown. Well, you don't give no one a crown until you're at the end, but I think they could go ahead and maybe start engraving a few E's on it, possibly. Nick Blood, New England Dragway needs the funny car chaos. That would be fun to see them all the way up there. From what I understand, you can expect that there very well might be the first East Coast funny car chaos date. Drag Racing Central says, no, Al Tucci was disappointing, to be honest, but the rest was flawless. I will say this. Jack Beckman in the booth was great. I enjoyed Jack's perspective. It was good to hear from him again. But like Drag Racing Central says here, I have nothing wrong on Friday night that you have that individual that is extremely high energy, as long as they are balanced with someone that is a bit more technical and doesn't quite have the energy like an Al Tucci. So that combination last year, Al and Wes, I thought that was good. I don't mind hearing from different people. There was an uproar by many last year that said, oh, I need Alan back. And, oh, I'm so glad I heard when you heard him back Saturday morning. What happened Friday night? We went into like an alternate dimension and it was terrible. Get over it. Respect professionalism, even when it's different. How about that? I enjoyed Friday night last year. I enjoyed Friday night this year, but I don't mind someone of high energy there on Friday night, especially. Doug Core says, Lee, you're in a great place tonight. Yes, go Buddy Hole. Buddy is a good guy. Nice background, American Hot Rod Entertainment says, yes, funny car and altered. Can't go wrong with that. Drag Racing Central. Also, someone should tell Buddy Hole he wins best tow vehicle in NHRA history. Well, let's be careful about NHRA history. You know, back in the day, the tow vehicles are pretty cool in and of their own selves when they had to like push off the cars to get them fired up. But he definitely had the coolest tow vehicle at the Texas Fall Nationals, and I would say probably all of 2022 for sure. That's Luis, the owner of DFW RV Center. That's his truck, and he was out. Again, DFW RV Center, they supported me being out there at the Texas Motorplex for the Stampede of Speed. Any work you need done for your RV, you need to contact DFW RV Center, from full interior remodels to mechanical repair and maintenance. If you are even looking to buy or sell, contact them. They can assist you as well. And Joe Morrison chimes in. Thanks for watching, Joe. Would love to have Funny Car Chaos come east. Island Dragway would potentially host. I believe there were some things in the works for Island. Let's see what happens. East Coast definitely might happen for Funny Car Chaos in the future. So we're about 5 minutes away from having Amber Franklin on. Let's take a quick dip into drag news as we await for our guest. She was in here earlier, and I'm sure we'll have her back. We'll be chatting with Amber shortly. Very quickly, this break and then drag news. All right, to kick us off, the winners of the Fall Nationals, Ron Capps, Hector Arana Jr., Erica Enders, and Justin Ashley. They win the Texas Fall Nationals, and we definitely have Erica Enders stepping away with it all in NHRA Camping World Competition and Pro Stock. Justin Ashley tightens his grip on the points lead. Ron Capps, again, makes a strong case. Hey, I am here to defend my world championship. And Hector Arana proving to be the spoiler, and he announced on Tuesday night that you could expect to see him for the next two races. Hector Arana out there in the field might play the spoiler for the rest of the year. Today, got the email on the Rookie of the Year race in NHRA competition, and in fact, there are only two. It's Camry Caruso and Scott Farley, and at this point right now, Camry Caruso, by a landslide, would have to be voted the Rookie of the Year. So a Pro Stock individual will take the crown once again. It's completely expected. Nothing against Scott, but he hasn't had as many races, and he hasn't had the opportunity to get out there and win as many rounds. Scott's definitely a great guy, does a good job. We actually briefly talked with him at the Cruise Petragon Fan Fest that you can see. That was a Between the Slicks episode just before the U.S. Nationals. But that voting is going to be taking place. Camry Caruso looks like she is going to be the landslide winner. And it's just interesting in NHRA drag racing. This year, there doesn't seem to be that great of crop of rookies in the sense of a large number of rookies. But the fact is, you have a lot of young people that are right there on the verge of stepping into the sport and making statements. There were other individuals who made like first-time starts, but just because you made a first-time start doesn't mean you have to be a part of the Rookie of the Year race. For example, Jake O'Patterney, he would be an individual like that. He could do the Rookie of the Year race next year if he wanted to. So it definitely looks like Camry Caruso is going to be the landslide winner, but don't let the number of people, as it were, qualified to possibly earn the award say, hey, drag racing isn't doing well. No, there's been many people who actually made their first starts this year, and we can see that also a lot in like A Fuel as well. Definitely with people who I believe are going to be moving up to Top Fuel eventually, someone such as a Hunter Green. We'll continue on in drag news. Hey, the Nostalgia Funny Car guys, they're going to get an opportunity to showcase their stuff, strut their stuff at Las Vegas. They're going to be racing at Las Vegas. It's going to be eliminations, actually, 8-car field. They'll qualify, race a little bit on Saturday and Sunday. That is going to be a whole lot of fun for the Nostalgia Funny Car racers there at the Heritage Series. They got a big drag race this weekend out there at Bakersfield. Be sure to check that out. Midwest Drag Racing Series at Extreme, they're going to be wrapping up their season this year. Their championship is going to come to a close. Also coming to a close, the PDRA. As you all know, Amber Franklin, she is the Pro Outlaw 632 champion. She is in studio. Be talking to her in just a moment. But the other winners in PDRA competition, you have as champion Jim Halsey. Imagine that. Congratulations, Jim. You also have Johnny Placino and Extreme Pro Stock winning the championship. Todd Tutterow in Pro Boost. he wins the championship. And definitely check out PDRA660.com and elsewhere for the information on all the other champions, from those on the bikes to Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, and elsewhere. But congratulations to all the PDRA champions. Moving right along, I want to remind you that the Southeast Gassers Association, their last race of the year is coming up November 4th through the 5th at Shady Side Dragway. That's in Shelby, North Carolina. Their last race of the year. That is drawing nearer and nearer. And at this time, we're going to take a break. Right after the break, we're going to have Amber Franklin on, talk with her about her year in Pro Outlaw 632. She is your champion for 2022 in PDRA competition in that class, Pro Outlaw 632. Right after the break, we're going to bring Amber on. If you own a beautiful modern muscle car like this 1320 Challenger, I'm sure you don't want it stolen. Because the Challenger and many other modern vehicles have an easily accessible neutral release strap. That was your coin holder in your central console, and beneath that there's this red cord that someone can pop, put it into neutral, and potentially easily steal your car. But at Destroyer1320.com, they have the TDS, Theft Deterrent System, which is a cover over that strap using factory mounting points so that you don't get popped by a thief. So make sure to go to Destroyer1320.com using promo code MMR for 15% off and get your Theft Deterrent System TDS and steal the thieves' hope. Amber, oh, we must have lost her coming in. Oh, no, hang on. Oh, yep, we've got the spinning wheel of time and loading happening. So, Amber, look, I'm going to drop you out. Come back in and let's see if we can get you at that point, okay? So we did have Amber in the green room, and bringing her in, something went awry. So try it again, Amber. We were seeing you there for a little while. We'll give that another shot. While we're waiting for Amber to come back around, again, the Pro Outlaw 632 champion in PDRA competition, she gets it done racing with her dad, Tommy Franklin, owner of the PDRA in Virginia Motorsports Park. We'll go to the comment section really quick. Let's see. Drag Racing Central says again, Maple Grove, House of Chaos, hosting Funny Car Chaos. Perfect combination. I think that would go well. The Chaos family in the Koretsky's and Funny Car Chaos being there, that would certainly be a wonderful combination. I think that it would also be a good fit with what Maple Grove is. Maple Grove is a great track, but it's not like a premier facility, but they're doing a whole lot better job. I heard a lot of great things were improved. I don't know. I think that could fit. I think that'd be a great East Coast fit. All right. We've got Amber. Amber, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Look, good to have you on Between the Slicks. Thank you for your time. Congratulations on the championship, girl.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and can't wait to talk about it.
All right, yes, let's talk about it. Because I know there was, well, I don't know if you're old enough for champagne, but there was a bunch of liquid flowing around and celebrating, and you get the championship. Huge moment for you and your young drag racing career. I do want to talk about first, what were some of the challenges this year? I imagine a lot of people would look at your situation and like, well, you know, she's driving for her dad. Her dad's a multi-time champion. It can't be that hard, really. You know, so what were some of the challenges this year in Pro Outlaw 632 for you to get to this championship? It was more of a fight than I think what people actually realize.
Definitely, and I'm glad you brought that up because that is what I hear the most about. And honestly, just proving my name enough. My dad's won championships in the car. The car's there. It proves itself. But having to prove myself last year, World Finals, I lost on a whole shot race. So that put a lot of pressure on me to prove myself again. And I kept having to remind myself, okay, you're still a new driver, but that didn't matter to me. And I wanted to do the best that I could right out from the gate. We dealt with a lot of stuff this year that a lot of people don't know about personally, between my dad having a scooter accident and breaking both of his hands. And then losing my grandpa in July. That put a big strain on our family, and overcoming that, racing's a mental game, and you have to put all that aside when you get back in these cars and make sure that you're on your game. So it's definitely a challenge, but I've got a lot of great people behind me, and they helped me get through it and make sure that we stayed focused and finished the year out strong.
Well, winning the championship is certainly finishing the year out strong. You mentioned the car. I'm going to bring up some photos. Let's talk about that hot rod that you are in. Your dad drove the car for many years. How long has it been in the stable of Franklin Motorsports?
Yeah, so I believe he won the championship in 2016 and 2017 in Pro Nitrous. I want to say that he got the new car in 2018 or 2019. I can't remember exactly. We didn't bring it out till the end of 2021, so a lot of people kept asking if he was going to sell it or what we were going to do with it. And there was always talk that I might run it one day. And honestly, to me, as a younger kid then, I was like, oh, one day and maybe it would happen. But I didn't really think that it would. And then the day came where Dad was like, all right, yeah, I think we could run this class. We saw 632. And I was like, I really like that because I love heads-up racing. And nowadays, top sportsmen, half of those cars are ridiculously fast, judging the finish line at 200 mile an hour. So I wanted to run 632, get my feet wet in it. And we definitely figured out for me, because I'm short, as most people know. If you see me in person, getting any car to fit me is a task in itself. So luckily Robert Hayes and all of his team got it squared away for me and was able to make a lot of adjustments to make myself comfortable in the car.
Well, you certainly have one bad hot rod, and it keeps its winning ways, but it's not just the car. You got to have a winning driver willing that, and you have definitely proved yourself to be that. So I first encountered you. You were in Junior Dragsters. I actually did a little interview at Darlington, and I'm not going to embarrass you tonight. I don't have it. I should have actually found it and played it, but from juniors to hopping into a full-size rail, competing, if I remember correctly, in Top Dragster, to going to the Door Slammer. Talk to me about that transition from junior, full rail, Door Slammer, and what were the nuances of each transition?
Yeah, so I definitely think any driver that runs juniors, you're getting a head start at just the mental aspect of the sport. I mentioned it earlier. Putting aside all of the mental games in this industry is a huge part of it, and juniors definitely helped me with that. I've raced PDRA since it was started, and it's definitely a fun game. The juniors, you grow family, and then I transitioned to Top dragster, and that was nice because I was used to dragsters. I got to run nitrous for the first time in that, and then going my fastest, and that car really helped me just get used to the speed and stuff. And then transitioning from a dragster to a door car was definitely a big learning curve. I mean, just the simple fact of me being on the left side of the groove as opposed to the center of the racetrack was a big task in itself. My guys kept reminding me, backing me up, like, don't forget, you're not in the dragster. So that's definitely a big aspect of it. And the door car world's a definitely way different game, but it's been fun. I love door cars. I watched my dad race them forever since I was little, and I definitely wanted to be in one as soon as I could, and I love my car, so I'm glad to be in it.
All right, so in particular, let's hone in on this transition to the Door Slammer. Did you find yourself, like you mentioned your height? I'm vertically challenged too for a guy, so I understand. But you mentioned your height. Did you find times where it's like, oh wow, and running a nitrous car, like, oh, it's kind of hard to see over the scoop. What's going on? Like, I got to move my head a certain way, and did you find like fire suit hitting anything that it wasn't supposed to hit? And you didn't realize what were some of the let's move this around, let's get that situated in particular that you mentioned even earlier, and what were some driving habits that you maybe even had to change or add to because, well, it's not a dragster, it's a door car?
Yeah, so it started out with we went down to Robert Hayes' shop and I sat in the car and he kind of heard what I wanted out of the car and how I would be comfortable. And he took those comments and notes and made sure that everything was where I wanted it to be. And we kind of mocked some things up. And then we got a pour-in seat done, which I 10 out of 10 recommend for anyone driving a door car especially. It really set me up in the car and where I needed to be. I have a steering wheel extension, pedal extensions, the switch panel, all that stuff was moved back 6 inches from where my dad had it. The simple stuff, as much as the nitrous valves, I had to turn those up to a certain way that I could reach them. It really did. When I got in the car, when Robert and them were done, I was comfortable and they did a great job. They helped me become comfortable in the car, and that's a big part of learning, especially in a new atmosphere that I wasn't used to. And I definitely watched my dad a lot. I watched videos, GoPro videos, anything that I could to learn and see what his driving style was and learn how I could do that in the same car. And my dad's been a great teacher since I started racing, and Blake, he races as well, so he's helped me a bunch. Jeff Pierce has been there from the start. He's helped a bunch with just different things that could help me and make me a better driver, and telling me the step-by-step process and just reminding me of the little things that I may forget on a week-to-week basis. And they're going to make sure that I'm reminded and kept it in my head and make sure that I do the same thing and am on my game every time.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit because you mentioned before working out to get you to come on the show. You're like, yeah, that should work out. That time should be fine. I'll be done with school or I'm heading to school. So what does school look like for you right now? I imagine that is college. And what are you studying?
Yeah, so I got my bachelor's in business administration and I graduated from that in May. I went to Liberty University. I did that all online. I've been working for my parents since sophomore year of high school, I believe. And then this fall, I actually started my master's program for electrical school. So we own electrical companies. We do new residential wiring, and I work for the companies. And we started that this fall. Like I said, 4 years of that left.
All right, so skipped out a little bit there, but we got the gist of it. Going to school for electrical. Well, that's cool. In the trades, not just I don't know, girls typically it's like I'm going to school for nursing. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But that's very cool to hear about like some trade and electrical and continuing to following in the family footsteps. Very cool. Very cool. So you'll be able to wire your own race car soon, right?
I don't know. Car wiring, if you ask my dad, that is just something completely like all of us dread it. It's just that's actually so not final round, but my final round of the race, second round at World Finals, I lost. I had a ground wire come off of the nitrous line, so that's kind of how I got screwed up in second round. But it's a race car, things like that happens. But I'm like, it's just convenient how it's something electrical that went wrong, but it's all good.
Right. The people who own an electrical company have something electrical go wrong. That should just never happen. Right.
Yeah.
right. So, Pro Outlaw 632, break the class down, if you would, and why you like it so much. I wish it got more coverage. It is a fascinating class. So many cool cars, so many different combinations, and still heads up. What do you like about it? And clue everybody in about what that class is.
Exactly like you said, there's so many different. Know if you're pulling up against someone that has the same stuff as you or someone that's running a completely different combination. You know, you've got the clutch cars, you've got the multi-system combination, the single system combination. It's really a diverse and fun class. I love heads-up racing, like I mentioned earlier. I've grown up watching my dad race all forms of kind of racing, whether it was Top Sportsman, Pro Stock, Pro Nitrous. But I really have fallen in love with nitrous, which is a bad thing because it is addictive, I think. But I loved it, and I wanted to eventually, my goal would be to step into a pro nitrous car one day, and I thought this would be the perfect stepping stone class. We had talked about Top Sportsman some before, but like I said, those guys they're crazy. They're judging the finish line going 200 mile an hour, and I think that running heads up is definitely where my heart's at because I love it, and I love the class. There's, like I said, the competition, the people in it, everyone is a great group of guys. I get to run against Lexi as well, my best friend that I grew up with, and we have a lot of fun doing it together. So we both talked about running 632 for quite a while now, and we get to do it together. We both ran juniors, then dragsters, and now in this class together. So it's a lot of fun.
All right. So everyone knows, Dad's in a door car, obviously. And now you're in a door car, both nitrous, uh, Pro 632. It's not quite Pro nitrous, obviously, but it's not far. It's not far. I've got to ask, like, at the end of the day, are you and Pops like comparing the time slips and look, Pops, I beat you on redaction time 4 out of 5 times this weekend. Come on, let's get with the program. So is there a little bit of fun in fighting in the family on a race day of who actually performed better?
Oh yeah, our family is very competitive. It doesn't matter what it is, racing or anything. It can be quite literally anything, and we are competitive. But it's fun because we are in separate classes, so we can make those jokes. But at the end of the day, we are competing with each other, and either we'll make comments about either me being later, or him being later, or even the 60-foot. We've had some good 60-foots, and I'll joke with him like, I'm catching up on you, and he's like, that's a problem. It's a lot of fun. I mean, running not the same exact combination, but something similar to compare to, and even the little stuff like the wheelies at World Finals, I was like, you see that wheelie out there, didn't you? And it's nothing compared to what he's doing, but at the same time, we get to have fun with it and joke around with each other.
So during testing, I mean, y'all got access to a track like all the time. I'm just curious, has there been a moment where someone staggered the tree and daughter and dad were able to do a little heads up in that moment? Has that happened yet? If it hasn't, it needs to. Just saying.
It has not, but now that you mentioned that, I like that idea. We have never raced each other in the door cars. We raced each other in bracket racing just with the dragsters, but we honestly, it's funny because we do have the access to the track, but we very rarely test. I don't know, with our schedules at home and just we don't test there that much as we should probably because of how convenient it is, and with Tyler being there at the track and getting the same prep as we would at PDRA, we definitely don't take advantage of it as much as we should.
Look, get Tyler out there. He loves being on that tractor anyway. Get him out there. Y'all set that up and do a best, 2 out of 3 or something, and let's see let's see. It boiled down to reaction time more than likely, probably. Let's see what daughter versus dad would look like. That would be very cool. Speaking of that, though, not that I'm trying to move you out of Pro Outlaw 632 anytime soon, but what's the roadmap? What are your thoughts about running Pro Nitrous, possibly running Pro Boost in the PDRA?
Yeah, it's definitely a big goal of mine. A lot of people have asked after last weekend and locking up the championship what next season looks like. We've definitely got a lot of great plans in the works and things that we've been working on that we're going to continue to run 632 next year and just get me more seat time and get more comfortable. We won the championship this year, but we're still learning a lot in the car and myself as a driver. So I think running 632 is a great idea for us just learning. And I'll be completely honest, that class, it's such a mechanic class because it's not just throwing as jet and whatnot. So we love to run for nitrous day and hopefully
Well, if you can still hear me, Amber, you've hit a spot where the connection is just slightly spotty. I'll continue to roll on here, though, if we get you back. And, oh, nope, we got the spinning wheel of time. So we'll see if Amber's able to pop back in or not here on Between the Slicks. Matt Stambaugh, congratulations, Amber. Great job this year. Certainly, congratulations to Amber is in order. She definitely did do a great job. We'll see if she's able to come back in and wrap up the interview. Just a few more minutes with her right here on Between the Slicks. That's Amber Franklin that we have been talking to, the PDRA Pro Outlaw 632 champion for 2022. Definitely has got a bright future ahead of her, no matter what she gets in, whether that is remaining in Pro Outlaw 632 or moving into Pro Nitrous or Pro Boost. It would be fascinating to see Tommy Franklin in a nitrous car and daughter Amber Franklin in Pro Boost, and they can just dominate both classes. So we got Amber back here as she's rolling down the road somewhere in Virginia, which I know for sure has spotty signal every now and then.
Yeah, sorry about that. Like I said, I had school tonight, so I just
You're
left
good.
school,
You're
so.
good. You're good. No worry. Hey, that's the beauty of being live. You never know what is going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen, but it happens, and you got to roll with the punches, as they say, being live. Well, Amber, drag racing, doing electrical. What else does a girl your age like to do? There's got to be something more than drag racing and electrical. What else does excite Amber? What else is Amber into? I mean, other than like slow walks on the beach. Who doesn't love that?
I don't know. Honestly, my life is pretty much ate up with work and racing. That's about it. I did get a puppy back in July, so that takes up a lot of my time right now. And other than that,
What kind of dog? What kind of dog?
I got a golden retriever. Her name is Hallie. If you have my mom or dad on Facebook, you definitely see her a lot. But she's a sweet puppy, and she's been good so far, and she definitely takes up a lot of energy and time, but she's a great dog. So I recommend a golden to anyone who wants a dog. They're great. But other than that, I really just spend a lot of time with my family, and we do a lot at the racetrack, whether it's drag racing, the dirt park, anything, monster trucks. So that takes up a lot of it. I love anything motorsports related. I watch some hockey, not as much as I used to, but we're Caps fans, so on the occasion that we get to watch that's about it.
All right, and certainly, definitely busy with racing, whether you're behind the wheel or not. You mentioned a little bit more that VMP offers. It's not just a drag racing facility; it's truly a motorsports park. You've got the dirt park, and there's even autocross and drifting happening out there. And I've seen you along with mom and dad, the whole family out there directing traffic during a national event to get people parked right. So you have definitely put in the work alongside with the rest of the family to make all of that there at Virginia Motorsports Park happen. What do you think about the track side of things? Could you ever see yourself in track management or regional director type roles, or is that an area that you're like, I don't have anything to do with that?
To be completely honest, I've definitely thought about it. It's an interest. I love racing, and it's something that I definitely wouldn't think of as a job. And I know everyone here is just saying, do what you love, and it'll never be work. But I also am hesitant to cross my hobby with work because I don't want it to be something that I dread or hesitate to want to do. And I love doing what we do and helping out on the weekends and Tyler and Crystal and all of the teams down at BMP and PDRA, they do a great job. If the opportunity ever came up, it would definitely be something that we would think about. But to be completely honest, if you asked me probably 8 years ago, I would have thought you were crazy if you said we would ever own a racetrack. So things have changed a lot, but I love it, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It definitely has brought a lot of families and people opportunities to our family, and there's a lot of people that show us a lot of love and support being from the racetrack, and we've gained a lot of, like I said, family and different aspects that we didn't think we would ever have because we never thought we would own a racetrack.
So, if I remember correctly, it's the only PDRA race that I was able to catch this year. Was not able to catch except for that one at Norwalk, with being tied up with Funny Car Chaos and the teams I work with at NHRA, and definitely missed my PDRA this year. I love the PDRA, love what your dad's got going on and all the competitors there. It is such a good group. But Norwalk was special because, if I remember correctly, you won and Dad won. Got to share victory lane with one another. How special was that moment?
I'm so sorry, you were breaking out. What was
Oh,
the
no.
question?
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. It's signal. I'll set it up once again. Norwalk, Ohio, only PDRA race I was able to make this year. Would have loved to have caught more, but that one was special for the Franklins because if I remember correctly, that's the first time you and Dad got to share a winner's lane in the door slammers. You in Pro Outlaw 632, him in Pro Nitrous. How special was that moment?
That weekend was pretty indescribable. I remember watching my dad run right before me. I was only a couple pairs back, so I was on the starting line. And I mean, racing at that level of competition, it's tough getting a win. And when you get one, it really feels like it paid off. And he made a really good run, and we're all on the starting line cheering and screaming and excited. And then I just remembered, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get back to my car and get in. I'm only a couple pair back, so I sprinted off of the starting line and got back in my car, and to try and remain calm and recollect myself and just like breathe and remember, like, okay, put that aside for a second. I gotta do my part. And the pressure was on at that point because I was like, he's done his part, I gotta do mine. And it's funny, we joke, Blake gives me this pep talk before the final round. Now it's started to become more often, but he gives me this pep talk, and he'll like say these like comments about how to let go of the button, and it's funny. But he gave me a pep talk, and we got it on GoPro, so I'll have to share that at some point. But I did my job, and the car did its job, and there's a video that's gone around of me in the car when the win light came on, and I was super excited. We all were excited after how many years that we had tried to do that, and I definitely think things happen for a reason. We were able to get that win, and then unfortunately my grandpa passed away in July, so I definitely think that he was able to watch that win from home and be a part of that with us too.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Glad you all got to have that special moment and before your grandfather's passing. And yeah, I didn't know that your dad had a scooter accident. I had been wondering all year, like, how did he break his hand? What happened? But it's a scooter accident. Okay, now I know that the blank has been filled in.
Yep, it was definitely, that was not fun at all. That was actually the week after Norwalk. So we won together, and then the week after we were at the racetrack, he was on someone else's scooter, not acting crazy. Nothing, was barely going fast enough, and he crashed his scooter and broke his pinky and his hand, and yeah, it was a mess. Definitely not fun at all, and very scary for us, but definitely want everyone to be cautious on any pit vehicles at the racetrack because they're dangerous, and we definitely realize.
All right, so if you can still hear me, broke up just a little bit there, but definitely, yes, everybody be cautious on those pit vehicles. You don't have to drive as fast as you probably are, and do not mix alcohol in driving, even in the pits. Do not. But glad Dad got on the mend, and hey, you got a good fill-in driver. there for a while as well, and the car still performed admirably. Rolling on into 2023, where can people follow you, Amber, be a fan of you, and root for you in Pro Outlaw 632?
Yeah, my main platform that I use is Instagram. I have my username on the comment bar, afranklin.05_. I may need to make that a little easier next year, but that's my main source that you guys can follow me at. Tommy Franklin Motorsports on Facebook. We have a lot of updates on there. We'll be posting throughout the winter so that everyone can keep up with what we're doing. And as far as that, if you guys have my parents on Facebook, you pretty much know every aspect of our life. So that's always a great way too. But our main is Tommy Franklin Motorsports, and then my Instagram is a great way to keep up with my personal racing.
All right, folks, like she said, you can follow her there on Instagram. She has got it in the name box, and I'm not going to attempt to repeat it. It's there, and you can go you can screenshot it and go find it. Yeah, I would recommend make that a little easier there, girl, for people to find. Yeah, make it just a little bit easier. But look, congratulations on the championship. I'm sure there's many more. I'm sure there's many more wins, and definitely want to keep an eye on your career and looking forward as high as it can go, and I know that that is going to be a high place indeed. Thank you for being on Between the Slicks tonight. We'll let you get back down the road and enjoy the rest of your evening, Miss Franklin.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and thank you again for having me on the show. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Take care. All right, folks. Amber Franklin, PDRA Pro Outlaw 632 champion for 2022. Always good to chat with the folks from the PDRA. I'm here in Alvarado, Texas. Buddy Hole Racing, Vertex Roofers, and Vertex Energy. Look, if you need roofing done in Texas, you need to call Vertex. Mr. Buddy Hole, his crew, they can definitely hook you up. If you need even solar panels, they're the ones to call as well for that. They even go further than roofing and solar panels. You need remodeling done in your kitchen or in your bathroom, they can handle that as well. DFW RV Center is your place to go for anything RV. They are the star in the Lone Star State and definitely around Dallas-Fort Worth. DFW RV Center for all your needs in the RV world. And Destroyer1320.com. Eric, great product with his TDS, the theft deterrent system. You've got a modern muscle car, check him out. He might have what you need to keep your car from being stolen. It's easier than you might think. People can just pop them into neutral and roll off with them. Stop that with Destroyer 1320's TDS, the theft deterrent system. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lee Kraft, the Monday Morning Racer. This has been another installment of Between the Slicks. Thank you for watching. Whether you're on the Competition Plus platform or the Monday Morning Racer platform, please go by Monday Morning Racer on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. That is free, and you can see great motorsports content, especially great drag racing content. Hey, I am looking for sponsors for the trip out to Las Vegas. Going to be covering the Nostalgia Funny Car guys. They're going to be in focus on my camera for sure. That includes driver interviews and the elimination rounds themselves. So if you're interested in sponsoring that particular coverage there at Monday Morning Racer at the national event coming up at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Strip, reach out at mondaymorningracer@gmail.com. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, God bless and keep the pedal to the metal.
Hero Soap Company is a veteran-owned establishment that produces all-natural, essential oils infused soap that is sold with a portion of the proceeds supporting other veteran groups. Hero Soap Company. Heroes supporting heroes. Be a hero yourself and buy a bar and let freedom clean.